I thought I knew my wife. 7 years of marriage in our quiet Denver neighborhood, Sunday morning pancakes, inside jokes that nobody else understood. Jessica and I were the couple everyone pointed to, the ones who made it look easy. But lately something shifted. She started spending more time at the gym, buying clothes that seemed designed for someone else's attention, coming home later with explanations that felt rehearsed. I told myself it was a phase, that marriages go through seasons. Then, one August evening, while I stood at the kitchen sink, washing dinner dishes, she sat down at the table behind me and said the words that shattered everything. "I want an open marriage, Damien. I need to explore what I have been missing." Before I dive into what happened next, I would love to know, where are you watching this from? Drop your city or country in the comments below. If this story hits close to home, or if you are just curious how this train wreck unfolded, hit that like button and subscribe. Trust me, you will not believe where this goes. So there I stood, dish soap still dripping from my hands, staring at the woman I had loved for 7 years, wondering who she had become. The plate I was holding slipped back into the sink. Water splashed onto my shirt, but I barely noticed. I turned around slowly, searching Jessica's face for any sign that this was some kind of twisted joke. Her expression remained steady, almost practiced, like she had rehearsed this moment in front of a mirror. "You are kidding, right?" I heard myself say, though my voice sounded distant, like it belonged to someone else. She shook her head, her freshly highlighted hair catching the overhead light. "I am completely serious, Damien. I have been thinking about this for months. Our life has become so predictable, so boring. I married you when I was 23. I never got the chance to really live, to experience what is out there." I gripped the edge of the counter, needing something solid beneath my hands. "What are you talking about? We have a good life. We have this house, we have each other. I thought we were happy." "You might be happy," she said, her tone clipping each word with precision. "But I feel like I am dying inside. Every day is the same. Wake up, go to work, come home, watch television, sleep. I need more than this. I need excitement, passion, something real." The word real hit me like a physical blow. I had given her 7 years of my life, worked overtime to afford this house, canceled plans with friends to be there for her bad days, and somehow none of that qualified as real. "Is this about me?" I asked, hating how small my voice sounded. "Did I do something wrong? We can go to counseling. We can take a trip. We can." "It is not about fixing anything," she interrupted. "It is about me needing to explore. I want to see what else is out there, who else is out there. I need to know what it feels like to be with real men, men who are confident, who take charge, who make me feel alive." Each word was a knife deliberately placed. I worked 50 hours a week. As an accountant, paid our mortgage on time, never forgot our anniversary, stayed faithful through every temptation. Apparently that made me something less than a real man in her eyes. "So what are you saying exactly?" I asked, though I already knew the answer. "I am saying I want an open marriage. We stay married, keep the house, but we are free to see other people. Just for a while, to scratch this itch. If you cannot agree to this, then we should probably start talking about divorce." There it was, the ultimatum. Agree to watch my wife sleep with other men, or lose everything we had built together. The house we had saved 3 years to buy, the life we had carefully constructed, all of it, balanced on the edge of her selfish need for excitement. I looked at her sitting there, makeup perfect even at 9 p.m., wearing a new dress I had never seen before, and realized I was staring at a stranger. We argued until 2 in the morning. I tried logic, emotion, desperation. Nothing moved her. She had made her decision, and my feelings were merely obstacles to overcome. Finally, exhausted and broken, I told her I needed time to think about it. She smiled, then a small, victorious curve of her lips, and said she would give me a week. Then she gathered her pillow and a blanket and went to sleep on the couch, leaving me alone in our bed, staring at the ceiling until dawn. The next 7 days were purgatory. We moved around each other like ghosts, occupying the same space but existing in different dimensions. Jessica slept in the living room. I took the bedroom, though sleep rarely came. I spent hours researching open marriages, reading forums, watching videos, trying to understand if this could possibly work. Every article said the same thing. Open marriages only succeed when both partners genuinely want it, when it comes from a place of mutual desire rather than ultimatum. This was not that. I watched Jessica during that week. She woke up earlier, spent an hour on makeup before work, wore outfits that showed more skin than I had seen in years. She came home late, always with the same excuse: meeting friends, running errands, working out. Her phone was always face down, always password protected, always just out of reach. The woman who used to share everything with me had become a locked vault. On the 6th night, I broke. While she was in the shower, I picked up her phone from the nightstand. I knew her passcode, our anniversary, which felt like a sick irony. What I found confirmed everything I suspected. Messages with someone named Kyle, pages of them going back 3 weeks. Flirtatious at first, then bolder. "Cannot wait to see you again. You looked incredible at the gym today. When is your husband going to agree so we can stop sneaking around?" My hands shook as I scrolled through their history. She had already found him. She had already started this, emotionally, if not physically, before even asking my permission. The shower shut off. I put the phone back exactly where I found it, my heart hammering against my ribs. I went to the kitchen, poured myself 3 fingers of whiskey, and waited. When she emerged, hair wrapped in a towel, I was sitting at the table. "Who is Kyle?" I asked. The color drained from her face, but only for a second. Then her expression hardened. "You went through my phone. Who is Kyle?" I repeated. She sat down across from me, not bothering with shame or apology. "He is someone I met at the gym. He is exactly the kind of man I am talking about. He is confident, successful, knows what he wants. That is exactly why I need this open marriage. I have already found someone who makes me feel alive." "You have already been seeing him," I said, the words tasting like ash. "You did not ask for an open marriage. You asked for permission to continue what you have already started." "We have not slept together," she said, as if that made it better. "I have been waiting for you to agree. But yes, I have been getting to know him, and it has shown me how much I have been missing." The whiskey burned going down, but not as much as the humiliation burning through my chest. I had been a fool. While I agonized over saving our marriage, she had been planning its execution. "Fine," I said, the words surprising us both. "You want an open marriage? You got it. But the rules apply to both of us. I get to see other people too." She actually laughed. "Sure, Damien. If you can find someone." The condescension in her voice was crystal clear. She genuinely believed I was too boring, too ordinary, too much of a non-real man to attract anyone else. 3 months, I said. "We try this for 3 months. If it is not working, we end it cleanly." She agreed immediately, already texting Kyle before I even left the room. I went to bed that night feeling like I had signed away my soul. But I was wrong. What I had actually done was give myself an exit strategy. I just did not know it yet. 2 weeks crawled by in a haze of separate bedrooms and careful avoidance. Jessica went out with Kyle 3, sometimes 4 times a week. She stopped hiding it, would announce her dates over breakfast, like she was mentioning a dentist appointment. "I will be out Friday night. Do not wait up." I nodded, said nothing, felt myself hollowing out from the inside. Then, on a Tuesday afternoon, a moving truck appeared next door. Our previous neighbors, an elderly couple, had relocated to be near their daughter. I had forgotten someone new was moving in. I was in the garage pretending to organize tools while actually just trying to stay out of the house when I heard furniture scraping and muffled cursing from the driveway next door. I walked over to find a woman struggling with a box that had split open at the bottom, books cascading onto the concrete. She was crouched down trying to gather them before they scattered further, her brown hair falling across her face. "Let me help," I said, kneeling beside her. She looked up and I found myself staring into green eyes that held equal parts frustration and amusement. "My hero," she said with a genuine smile. I swear I labeled this one light items, but apparently past me was an optimist. Together we gathered the books, mostly mystery novels and some business texts, and I helped her carry them inside. Her name was Naomi, she told me, 32 years old, recently divorced, working remotely for a tech company out of Seattle. She had wanted a fresh start somewhere with mountains and fewer memories. Denver fit the bill. "How about you?" she asked as we set the box in her empty living room. "Been here long, 7 years, I said. "My wife and I bought the place when we got married. It is a good neighborhood, quiet." "Wife," she repeated, and something flickered across her face. "Lucky woman." I did not feel like explaining the open marriage disaster, so I just smiled and changed the subject. We talked for maybe 20 minutes, her asking about the neighborhood, good restaurants, hiking trails. She was easy to talk to, the kind of person who actually listened instead of just waiting for their turn to speak. When I finally headed back to my house, I felt lighter than I had in weeks. Jessica was watching from the kitchen window when I walked in, making friends with the new neighbor. Her tone was casual, but her eyes were calculating. "Just being neighborly," I said, heading upstairs before she could interrogate further. But over the next few days, I kept running into Naomi. She would be checking her mail when I left for work. She would be on her porch with coffee when I got home. We fell into easy conversations, the kind that stretched longer each time. She told me about her marriage ending when her husband cheated with a coworker. I found myself sharing that Jessica and I were going through something, keeping it vague but honest enough. "Sounds rough," Naomi said one evening when we had been talking across our driveways for nearly an hour. "Whatever it is, I hope you are taking care of yourself through it." Nobody had asked me that in months. Jessica certainly had not. I felt an unexpected tightness in my throat and just nodded. The following Friday, Jessica announced another date with Kyle. "Do not wait up," she said, the same careless dismissal she always used. I watched her leave in a cloud of expensive perfume, then grabbed a beer from the fridge and sat on our back patio. The sun was setting, painting the sky in shades of orange and purple, and I felt profoundly alone. Rough day. I turned to see Naomi standing at the fence that separated our yards. She had a beer in her hand too, was wearing jeans and an old college sweatshirt, her hair pulled back in a simple ponytail. No makeup, no pretense, just genuine concern on her face. "Something like that," I said. "Want to come over? I have more beer." She climbed over the low fence instead of walking around, which made me laugh for the first time in weeks. We sat in my patio chairs, drinking beer and watching the stars emerge. She did not push me to talk, which somehow made it easier when I finally did. I told her everything. The open marriage demand, Kyle, the feeling of being erased from my own life. She listened without judgment, without platitudes, just present and understanding. "My ex did something similar," she said when I finished. Not the open marriage thing, but the rewriting history to make me the villain. Suddenly I was too boring, too focused on work, too unsexy. Meanwhile, he was screwing his 25-year-old assistant in our bed. "Some people are just fundamentally selfish, Damien. It is not about you being enough. It is about them being broken." Her words settled into the hollow places inside me, not fixing anything but somehow making the pain feel less isolating. We talked until midnight, long after both of us had switched to water. We laughed about terrible first jobs, argued good-naturedly about whether Star Wars or Star Trek was superior, traded stories about family dysfunction. When Jessica's car pulled into the driveway at 12:30, Naomi and I were mid-conversation about the best pizza in Denver. Jessica got out of her car, saw us, and her expression flickered with something I could not quite read. Surprise, irritation. She walked over heels, clicking on the concrete. "Hi," she said to Naomi, her smile tight. "I am Jessica, Damien's wife." Naomi, my neighbor, replied, standing to shake hands. "Just moved in next door. Your husband has been incredibly welcoming." The emphasis on your husband was subtle but deliberate. Jessica's smile grew even more forced. "How nice. Well, I am sure Damien needs to come inside now. It is late." "Actually," I said, surprising myself, "I am going to stay out here a bit longer. You go ahead." Jessica's eyes narrowed, but she could hardly object after spending her evening with Kyle. She went inside without another word, and I could feel her watching us from the kitchen window. Naomi and I talked for another hour, deliberately taking our time, and I realized I was enjoying the small rebellion. Over the next 3 weeks, Naomi and I became close friends. We started walking together in the mornings before work, grabbing coffee at the shop 2 blocks over, cooking dinner together when Jessica was out with Kyle. Naomi introduced me to her favorite mystery authors. I taught her the hiking trails in the nearby mountains. With her, I felt seen, valued, treated like my thoughts and presence mattered. It was everything my marriage had stopped being. Jessica noticed. I could see it in the way she watched us, the questions she started asking. "You seem to spend a lot of time with her. What do you two even talk about? Is she single?" I answered, vaguely enjoying her discomfort more than I probably should have. Then came the night Naomi invited me over for dinner. "Nothing fancy," she said. "Just pasta and wine. But my kitchen is bigger than yours, and I could use the company." Jessica was home when Naomi asked, was standing in the hallway pretending to sort mail. When I said yes, I saw Jessica's jaw tighten. "You are really going to her house?" Jessica asked after Naomi left. I looked at my wife, at this woman who had dismantled our marriage for her own gratification. "You go out with Kyle 3 times a week." I thought this was what you wanted. She had no answer to that, so I went upstairs and changed into clean clothes. When I came back down, Jessica was in the kitchen, slamming cabinet doors. "Just remember, you are still married," she called after me. Naomi's house smelled like garlic and basil when I arrived. She had set her small dining table with actual cloth napkins, had candles burning, had clearly put thought into the evening. The pasta was homemade, the wine was good, and the conversation flowed like water. We talked about our dreams, the ones we had put aside for marriages that did not appreciate them. She wanted to write a novel someday. I admitted I had always wanted to learn guitar, but Jessica had said it was too noisy. "That is sad," Naomi said softly. "You should never have to make yourself smaller for someone else." We moved to her couch after dinner, sat closer than friends probably should, and I could feel the shift in energy between us. She turned to me, her green eyes serious. "Can I be honest about something?" "Always," I said. "I find you incredibly attractive, Damien. Not just physically, though, that too. But the way you listen, the way you care about things, the way you are present in conversations, that is rare. Your wife is a fool for not seeing it." My heart was pounding so hard I was sure she could hear it. "Naomi, I know you are still technically married," she continued, "and I know this is complicated. But I also know that life is short, and we do not get unlimited chances at happiness. So I am just going to ask, would it be okay if I kissed you? I should have thought about it longer. I should have considered consequences. Instead, I just nodded. She leaned in, her lips meeting mine with a gentleness that felt like coming home. The kiss was soft, exploratory, nothing like the mechanical pecks Jessica and I had exchanged in recent months. This was 2 people actually connecting, actually wanting each other.